Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. So this one is actually a community cast sent in by LightningStrikes, and he's up against Kark. This is a really cool one. Really wide Dark Elf line here, which is really interesting. You rarely see this. I think this is a beautiful counter to most sort of Empire play that tends to be sort of focused on sort of having artillery to shut down, you know, vital things, and you know, just a line to hold. But frankly, there's no line that can hold back all of this, so it's pretty cool. I really like it. It's a nice solution to that sort of, you know, usual problem. But it doesn't mean he doesn't have some punch. In the back, you can see he's got Blades of the Blood Queen and 2 Hargneth Executioners. He's also got Malekith, and he has 2 Cold One Knights as well. And actually, in the back, he does have some Dark Riders as well. So pretty cool. But his opponent has really gone off meta here. This is really interesting. So he's gone very mobile, so he can just whittle things down at his leisure. It's pretty cool. So you can see he's got Zintl's Rights Guard, he's got Knights of the Blazing Sun, Karl Franz, never see him. But actually, Karl Franz, he's with his abilities procced, he hits like an absolute truck. He is terrifying. Amazing anti-large, just crazy good with his abilities. So as long as they're on cooldown, he can get in, decimate, and then leave. So Karl Franz, for a very mobile army, I actually really like. Prolonged combat, not so much. He'll get whittled down, especially without a Jade Wizard. You can see he's got a Celestial Wizard instead. So he's basically going to be using Curse of the Midnight Wind predominantly with the Celestial Wizard, which is pretty cool. So, you know, nice to debuff stuff. Get in with your hit and run tactics. It gets some real work done. Especially because a lot of this, you know, cavalry doesn't have a lot of armor piercing. So having something that can sunder the armor, you know, like Curse of the Midnight Wind and then charge in is really great. So also Sigmar's Sons, some spearmen, some swordsmen, some spearmen, some swordsmen, some spearmen. Yeah, same kind of vibe as, you know, we got with the Dark Elves here, just not as many. But here, this is bizarre. A steam tank against the Dark Elves. Don't often see that. You know, the steam tank tends to be pretty vulnerable. You know, if a dragon turns up, it's dead. You know, it doesn't take much to take out a steam tank, honestly. They have very little melee defense, so they can get really focused down and butchered. So, pretty scary, but yeah, interesting to see, definitely. And with such a mobile force, there's a lot of stuff that can kind of screen for it, I suppose. So it's really cool to see. Really did not expect a steam tank. So also, Demigryph Knights and Knights of the Blazing Sun. So pretty scary stuff. And yeah, very unexpected. So we'll see how LightningStrikes deals with this issue. So, surging forward with all of this stuff. Blades of the Blood Queen already getting shot at by the steam tank, but no hits yet, so that's good news. So here, straight away, Kark is coming in, seeing these sort of vulnerable spots of the Bleak Swords. So, charging in, getting some early damage in. Obviously, LightningStrikes is sending the Dread Spears in to try and get this stuff, which is definitely worthwhile. You definitely want to do that. But, you know, see a fair bit of damage, and the Knights have taken very little in return. So, not bad, just to get some early damage in. And also, it's kind of, you know, put the ranks into disarray somewhat. So that's pretty cool. And all the while, the steam tank is shooting into this stuff. So that's pretty good. And so here, whole front line has stopped moving to react to all this. And so the steam tank has had a few more seconds. You know, another, at least a couple of shots to fire into the Hargneth Executioners. So now the Cold One Knights are pushing forward, knowing they need to get on top of this stuff. Over here, the Dark Riders managed to get in on top of the Sigmar's Sons. You know, them being unbreakable, you want to whittle them down early, because they're going to delay you. And did do a bit of damage to the Celestial Wizard too. But it's got all this stuff, you know, now clumped up. It stopped the assault on the front line, so all this stuff can move up. But this, I think, is a slight mistake. I know you got the numbers, but spreading out like this is too much. You want to stay closer. You know, with such a mobile force, you want stuff to be dense. You want stuff to be able to react. You want everything nearby. You don't want to have a big section of your army secluded and on its own. You know, especially with such mobile troops. So, over here, you can see pretty cool actions here. So the Cold One Knights are going to get on top of the Zintl's Rights Guard. That is going to hurt the Zintl's Rights Guard a lot. But with the rear charges here, Franz coming in, Celestial Wizard doing an overcasted Curse of the Midnight Wind. It really lowers these guys' melee attack. Their armor's gone down. This is going to last for ages. And now, with them rampaging, they're just going to sit in the bad effects of the spell. They're not going to be able to retreat and come back later when the spell's worn off. Nope, no chance. So that is very cool. So this stuff is going to be rampaging, but Malekith has charged in, doing a ton of damage to Celestial Wizard, and now a Soul Stealer has been procced on this stuff. These are all such valuable units that the Empire player cannot really do without. He needs to keep this stuff together. So very interesting play here. And now, you know, some Dread Spears are backing them up, some other infantry. Now we've got some really good armor piercing with the Hargneth Executioners following up. And here, Sigmar's Sons are going to get cleaved to pieces. But all this stuff is getting shut down. You know, the Dark Elves on this flank, just decimated. You know, there was a lot of strength here. The steam tank has actually engaged in melee, so the Terror can, you know, take hold of this stuff. And rear charge with the Knights of the Blazing Sun and the Demigryph Knights is just going to shut all this infantry down. So that's really rough. But then this is really rough for the Empire. I mean, look at this. Malekith still hot on their heels. Celestial Wizard almost taken out, but just about managed to get away. I'm amazed this cavalry didn't break, honestly. Just the amount of damage all this stuff took. But they're hanging on. They've actually managed to hang on, which is pretty impressive. So here, Cold War Knights, they are rampaging, so they're charging in. But now they're just going to be ordered forwards. Because, frankly, that Celestial Wizard is nice. But here you can see Kark has actually moved off in 2 separate directions. So, be brilliant if you can get rid of the Wizard. But you can see they're trying to get us around here. And it looks like they're going to get it. So over here, Knights are charging into this stuff, basically just to keep it from moving again. So it's giving this stuff more time to fight. It's doing some shock damage, and it's giving the steam tank more time to shoot into this stuff. So yeah, LightningStrikes is really fighting an uphill battle here, just to catch this stuff out. So here, the Cold War Knights are dealing with this stuff. The Celestial Wizard is running away, so that is great news. You know, the anti-large, the Cold War Knights is going to help here, as well as pretty good armor as well at 90. And yet now the Dread Spears are following up. They're going to do great damage to the cavalry for very cheap. Amazingly though, the Celestial Wizard is still going. Malekith has actually joined the fight over here, escorting his better units, while he's just got cheaper stuff bogging this stuff down. And frankly, doing a fair bit of damage. I mean, yeah, the Wizard here, he's not going to be having a good time. The Knights are getting fought away, and Karl Franz just bogged down by cheap stuff that it doesn't matter. You know, the longer he's in there, the better it is for the Dark Elves. So here, Malekith trying to punch her through all this stuff. So you can see the just strength of the Executioners. They are cleaving through all this stuff. But it has left them a bit clumped up. And that's the scary thing with something like, you know, the steam tank being quite mobile. It's able to escape. You can't just run straight at it and focus it down and, you know, take some of the cavalry charges on your way there. It's going to run away. It's not like other artillery pieces. So you can't just focus it down, which means you're going to have all these times where you're charging in with cavalry. You know, there's very few units to attack, so you're going to charge up with everything, clump up, and then the steam tank get better value. Because at the moment, the steam tank does have 61 kills. In fact, it has 69 kills. It just got 8 kills on Hargoneth Executioners with a single shot there. So it's pretty great, you know, this this strategy of having a very mobile force and very small force. It lets the steam tank really shine, which is something you don't often see. So here, Malekith is doing his best to fight off all this stuff. The Demigryph Knights are going to do a fair bit of damage to him, though. So that is not ideal. But Hargoneth Executioners are coming to back him up. Sure, they don't have anti-large, but they do have great armor piercing, good combat stats, so they're still going to do a lot of damage to this stuff. So here, Dark Elves are winning the day. But over here, it looks like the Dark Elves are doing a fine job. They were keeping all this stuff bogged down, but some of the cavalry has come back amazingly. Now the steam tank is joining. Here, once again, pulled out with everything and is attacking all at once. And so with the added terror of the steam tank, this stuff all terrifies. Suddenly the Dark Elf, you know, force here that was bogging that stuff down just shut down completely, which is amazing. So really cool. So here, Malekith is dealing with Demigryph Knights, so he should do alright there. You know, they've lost another model. They're being cut off at the pass, which is brilliant, and they're going to try and pull away, but I think they're going to take some damage here before they can get out. Don't know if they'll lose any models, but that's a bit risky. That is a bit tough. And yet, they are really getting bogged down, but somehow avoiding losing any models. But it's not looking good for their leadership. There we go, there's another Demigryph gone. And yeah, their leadership, there we go, they are broken. So that is great news for Malekith. He does not want to be fighting Demigryphs with halberds all day. Here, though, this stuff has been chasing away the Empire infantry. And now, beautiful charge here. Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to get in the back of these bleak swords, do a ton of damage, and they're just going to keep moving. They're going to move on to these Dread Spears. The Dread Spears have been called back, but now they're not braced. They can get charged and pulled through as well. So huge amount of damage on the Dread Spears there. But what can you do? You know, if you don't charge, they're just going to sit and kill all the Bleak Swords. But then I guess Malekith on their heels, they're going to try and run. So it's pretty rough for the cheaper Dark Elf infantry here. They're just getting completely bullied. And unfortunately, the Executioners just can't keep, you know, they can't keep pace with them. They can't keep, you know, keep chasing like that. So over here, you can see the ones that got terrified away by the steam tank, they're being chased off so they can't come back. Because you don't want this stuff coming back. You know, I mean, with such a huge, wide army, you want to get rid of all the chaff. You don't want that stuff getting in your way. You want to be able to get these free shots into Hargoneth Executioners. You want every charge to hit the valuable targets. So you want to get rid of all this chaff. And frankly, attacking the chaff, you're going to take less damage with each of those charges because you're going to be able to pull away. They just don't have the mass like the Executioners do. So it allows you to get more value out of your Knights. You can see here, 100 kills for the Knights of the Blazing Sun now, which is pretty formidable. Once again, Dread Spears are not braced, so he takes the chance to attack them. But I mean, what can you do as a Dark Elf player? You know, you can't just stand still, because you're just going to keep getting shot by the steam tank. And with all the Cold War Knights dead, that is really punishing. So here, another Soul Stealer, just to try and shut these guys down, but yeah, he's split up. Might still be a bit too late for the Demogryph Knights, though. They have suffered a lot. There's only 6 models left, 5 models left. They're really, really struggling here. And Knights of Blazing Sun took a lot of damage to the Soul Stealer as well. You can see here, these Hardened Executioners, they've been getting shot at for a long time, and they are taking so many casualties. There goes a few more. So, pretty terrifying stuff. And now that stuff is being wrapped up, so more cavalry are going to be able to join the fray. This unit is still fairly healthy. Karl Franz, he hasn't really been used yet as an assassin, but now there's such, you know, few models here to bog him down. He can now proc his abilities and charge Malekith. And there's not a lot Malekith can do about it. He's going to try and countercharge. You know, the armor piercing's coming in here, but with this stuff getting shot at, nice cheeky charge the Knights of Blazing Sun, keeping all this stuff, you know, off its balance. It's pretty scary. And Karl Franz, with his buffs, 600 weapon strength, a load of armor piercing, 91 melee attack. Absolutely huge. Really terrifying stuff. Huge amount of armor piercing. Absolute powerhouse. But only while those things are active. You know, without that, he's quite easy to be bullied. So, Hardened Executioners now getting shot at. Spearmen here going to bog this stuff down a bit, allowing Franz to escape. And the steam tank is just going to keep shooting into this stuff. And now, Malekith is just super injured. At this point, it might have been worth finishing him off. The steam tank could reach him, but, you know, he might... Oh, yeah, okay, he did try and hit him. He did, in fact, try and hit him, and he missed. That's a real pity. That one hit would have got him. So, but... he's so injured, he can't come back into the fight. He doesn't really have to worry about Malekith returning. He's been using Winds of Magic constantly, the whole battle. He's probably not going to be able to get another spell off either. So, it's pretty rough. So, Franz is actually chasing a bit, but with only 10 speed difference, it's going to take hours to chase Malekith. So, he will be returning. Franz will join this fight to keep these guys going, because frankly, these guys are not happy. The Knights are not happy. They are breaking, and all this stuff is getting dangerously close to the steam tank. And the steam tank doesn't have great melee defense. Okay, at the moment 11, and that will go up again soon. It's the chevrons that are doing it. The chevrons give you so much melee defense for free. Because frankly, steam tanks have awful melee defense. Just woeful. But it's on the rise, just because the damage he's doing, which is pretty crazy. So, has it gone up again yet? Nope. It will, though. I know it does at some point. So anyway, now charging in to the Blaze of the Blood Queen, pretty dangerous, but, you know, the Terror is going to hit this stuff. These guys are coming in from every angle, so looks like these Knights of the Blazing Sun are going to get a rear charge on this stuff, and frankly, because the steam tank is unbreakable, sure, it might take a ton of damage, but until it's actually killed, it's going to stay in this fight and anchor this stuff for the rear charges. So Karl Franz is charging in here. This stuff is getting terrified. So that's one unit terrified, one unit broken. So it's only the Blades of the Blood Queen here left. And Malekith is too far away to, you know, support this stuff. And if he did get close, he'd just get killed. The steam tank could just hop out of this engagement, take a shot, and then run back in. Pretty scary. So here, more charges going on. Blades of the Blood Queen, though, is still very good leadership. Still very good leadership. They're having a whale of a time fighting Franz here. Franz is taking some significant damage. But things are starting to really start dipping now, because they are exhausted. Faster, stronger enemies nearby. They've got quite a few debuffs here, and the damage being sustained is actually massive. Franz is hitting them pretty hard here, because he has procced his abilities again, so a load of armor-piercing damage is going to really help kill these guys. And the steam tank, with his anti-infantry bonus, and with the Reichland Runefang buffing his stats, it actually puts his melee attack up to 58, which is pretty damn good. And that is enough to break him. So, absolutely mad battle. So, LightningStrikes, thanks for sending this one in. This is really unexpected. Seeing that line that you had, that initial army, I thought, yeah, that's going to be really tough for the Empire. Just the length of that line. You can't stop all that stuff. Something will be able to get in. I know, usually, you want cavalry to plug in those gaps, quickly try and route things, but just the sheer numbers and the fact that there is so much, you know, really elite infantry just to be able to, you know, win the engagements they find themselves in. It's pretty scary, you know. I really thought this was going to do it. You know, quite a simple build, but effective. But Kark just brought the perfect counter to it. This is a really unexpected build. And guys, this is basically not one I'd recommend either. This is a lot of work. This is really micro-intensive. If you're not using your units right, if anything gets caught out, you lose, right? Everything is too expensive and too fragile, frankly. If you can't control them like Kark was there, splitting them up and, you know, sort of charging in together on secluded units, you've really got to coordinate really well, or you're not gonna do well with this army at all. So really impressive play there by both of you guys actually, but really impressed how he managed to get this stuff to stretch. Really, really impressive. Sorry, LightningStrikes, you got a really tough deal there. But yeah, really, really cool play there, you know, with all the overlapping spells and, you know, really, really big engagements. Really cool. So, guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.